So let's get right into it. Tomorrow is going to be Chimchar Community Day. As with the past couple community days, it will be 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in your local time zone. The featured Pokemon is Chimchar, so not only will Chimchar spawns be more frequent, allegedly, but the shiny form will also be released during the time frame of this community day. Afterwards, you could in theory find the shiny even after the event, but you would have the same odds as a normal shiny in Pokemon Go. Additional bonuses include the 3-hour lures that we get every single community day, and quarter egg hatch distance. I'm pretty sure this means eggs will hatch 4 times quicker than usual, but I'm never 100% sure on the wording of it. Last but not least, Chimchar is going to get the exclusive community day move, Blast Burn. Big shock, I know, but I mean at this point, it just wouldn't feel right if we didn't get a fire starter with a Blast Burn for his community day move. It is the most powerful fire type move in the game, so on a pure statistic standpoint, is the best thing we could give Chimchar for a community day. And I personally rather would have something good, yet predictable, instead of something terrible, but unexpected. I definitely see people's feedback on the concept of maybe giving it a fighting community day move, but you gotta keep in mind that Blast Burn, Frenzy Play, and Hydrocan have a special place in Pokemon lore as a whole. I feel like I've said this before, but essentially in the main series games, they're tied to a Pokemon's affection. You basically get your starter, travel with it throughout the whole land, and then you find a special move tutor that will teach you the most powerful move if you're friendly enough with the Pokemon. And I think Community Day is a good way to translate that into Pokemon Go. I personally wouldn't complain if they wanted to do 2 Community Day moves, or like they did with the Gen 3 starters. They release a Community Day move and then a sub-optimal Community Day move that you could permanently teach your Pokemon even beyond the time frame of the Community Day. But it is what it is. And I feel like no matter what we were to give Chimchar, or specifically his final evolution, Inferape, it wouldn't really shake anything up. There's still plenty of other fire starters that are going to be more powerful with Blast Burn than Inferape, so if you're looking at this purely from statistical standpoints, I wouldn't go too hard on it. From what I listened to on the FLW video, it doesn't seem like it's going to have a real highlight in either PvP or in raiding, just due to the fact that there's other fire types that get a better overall DPS out of their moves based on stats and all that. Still, though, I personally would recommend at least getting 1 with the Community Day move and a shiny, if only for the novelty. Plus, if you're more of a casual player, and you don't really have too many, if any, options for fire types, this still wouldn't be a bad thing. A Blast Burn Inferape would be better than no fire type at all. I gotta double check if it actually outpaces Flareon, but if it doesn't, I assume it would be close at the very least. Still though, if you did take part in past community days, specifically the Charmander community day and the Torchic community day, and fully evolve your starter Pokemon to get Blast Burn, then you probably don't need too many, if any, Infrapes within Blast Burn. Who knows though, if you're in the PvP scene, you know how it can just shake up the moves of a Pokemon out of the blue and then all of a sudden become super valuable. I'm still regretting not getting a Last Resort Umbreon when I had the chance to do so. You gotta keep in mind, back in those days, PvP didn't even exist, trainer battles didn't exist, and if you were going to use a Pokemon for raiding, it was only for the raid scene. I was thinking Umbreon's not going to get stab, so why spend my buddy slot trying to get it to evolve on Community Day when I could just focus that buddy slot on Pokemon that I need candy for and get the Pokemon then. And I'm still regretting either way though, because I love Umbreon's one of my favorites. And it's just a shame that it's doing so good in the specialized Sylph League Cups currently, and yet I can't use it because I don't have one. I can hope though, for December's Community Day and hope that they bring back all the Community Day moves like they did last year. And that's not too far away. That's already the next Community Day. So it'll be really interesting to see how it plays out. If it goes like last year, then it'll probably be a whole event out of it. And that'll be exciting. Like having a whole week event to catch Pokemon, like find shinies you miss. I'm really hoping to get the opportunity to get a few more shiny routes because I'm still a little sad all these months later that I didn't get to put the whole 3 hours trying to get one of my favorite shinies out of everything they've released for Community Day. So overall, I'm not going to hold my breath too much for this Community Day. Not necessarily because of the Pokemon itself, because like, for me, the Pokemon is a bonus of Community Day. The big charm of Community Day for me is just getting out there and enjoying myself. However, it's November, there's snow on the ground, and I haven't seen 40-degree plus temperatures for a good week now, and I get the feeling that I won't see anything above 30 again for the next few months. So it's going to be a cold one, and I got a feeling that alone is going to discourage me from being out for the whole 3 hours. But I will try to dress warm. I have gloves, I have a pen, but I notice I have a hard time keeping my gloves on and using the pen during things like more and more because we have like rocket events and all this stuff that my pen's just not precise enough to do fast tapping with. I need 2 hands to do the quick catch, so pen useless in that case, and Community Days, the way I like to play it, is full of fast catching. So we'll see how it goes. If this makes it onto YouTube, then you know I haven't died of hypothermia, so that's all good. But seriously, if you do live in the winter area, stay warm. I guess that also applies if you're on the opposite side of the world and it's starting to get hot. Stay cool. Don't die. It's just a video game. Still, with the fact that I was out at the college for the last Community Day and I didn't get to hang out with any of the people I usually do for Community Days, it'll be nice if only to see them again. And I'm mostly playing it by ear. If I want to stay out the whole time frame, I will. If I don't, I don't. And I'll be happy either way, because December is when I really want to have my Community Day grind on. I'll talk more about it when we actually get into the preview for December Community Day. But I got big plans for both days then, and I can't wait to implement them. I just hope the event lives up to the hype. So, to my fellow audio listeners, thank you all for tuning in for this double feature editorial, my thoughts on JackitK in terms of the lore of the game, and my preview thoughts for Chimchar Community. Stay tuned for, let's say next week, for when I go over my retrospective on Chimchar Community. And I'm hoping to be a bit more active with the podcasting in general, because, man, I got actually a couple really good ideas for editorials that I want to do. It's just a matter of putting the time aside to do them. I know I've already put the whole Shadow Pokemon historical editorial on the back burner for a long time as is, but this one idea in particular I think would be really good for that particular theme. I'm just gonna say I want to talk about Shiny and Shadow Pokemon because that's gonna be a first for the entire Pokemon series, and I also want to talk about a few other elements, how they compare and contrast to how they were to the GameCube games, because I think we have the potential to take the Shadow Pokemon formula up and beyond anything that was done in the GameCube games. And that's kind of saying something because we don't have nearly any of the mechanical innovations that the Shadow Pokemon had in their original games. Apologies again if everything seemed a bit more rushed and things aren't as polished as they usually are. I do feel like I've been procrastinating things a lot, and I just wanted to get it out there while it's still relevant, especially the Chimchar thing. With these more date-sensitive parts out of the way, I'm going to actually be able to take the time to build up a backlog, so we have our proper intro and outro themes and all that good stuff, and overall better quality. It's going to be a good time. I'm feeling really good about some of the editorial topics I want to talk to you all about. So be sure to tune in if you want to see that come to fruition. I guess if you're listening to it as a podcast, that would be hear it come to fruition. Doesn't have quite the same ring to it, but I digress. All that aside though, thank you again for tuning in. Hey, interwebs, I'm back. It's been a long time coming today, but I'm here to report my community day. I'm sorry, there was just way too many syllables to make that work. It's been 1 week since I improv this. You think I have much better... Don't think I can say that word on the radio. But if you knew the word, you knew the rhyme, and you knew how I was able to redeem myself. Anyways, no. I can't say Chimchar Community Day was bad, but they're just... As I was kind of afraid of, there's just not really as much eventfulness to it as during the summer and all, because... and definitely not as eventful as when I was up in the college and there was people everywhere playing. The only downside with the college was that there aren't as many people that I'm familiar and talk with up there as there is in the typical community day walk area. The good news is that it seems spawns are back to their usual pattern. I felt like I had less of the community day Pokemon overall, but that's more of a situation of comparing the college to my normal community day area rather than the spawn pattern itself. So I think it's for the best that it's back to the normal spawn pattern for community day, because that's the one that typically gets people more Pokemon. I'm sure if I was playing up in the college again, it'd be a lot easier to find Chimchars than it was to find Trapinch. Even with that said though, I had a pretty good shiny haul, and a really good shiny haul considering how casually I played. Got myself sitting on 7 shiny Chimchars, and I evolved 3 of them because I just couldn't make up my mind. Got this Inferape that's a little lower level, sitting at CP in between 1,000 and 1,500, but it's got a nice IV spread of 14 attack, I believe 12 defense and 13 HP. If I look at this other one that's much more maxed out with 2079. Did I mention that a good chunk of this community was weather boosted? Because that certainly helps. Even though this one has a lot better of a CP, it's kind of sitting more at a 11, 11, 14. And why did I evolve this last one again? Probably because I'm just feel obligated to evolve PvP IVs, especially when I have so many Chimchar candies to spare. For the audio listeners, that's a Inferape with 4 attack, 14 defense, and 15 HP. I'm not sure what the most ideal PvP IV spread for Inferape is, and it doesn't really matter because Inferape's not going to be in the PvP scene for a long time, at least on Great League level, unless it gets a move pool shift that drastically changes things. But if that ever does happen, at least I have this Inferape of the sparkling variety sitting around. What else do I have in the good old Chimchar collection? I haven't even talked yet about why this is a more casual one. And as per tradition, I still, despite the fact that there's no way I'm ever going to use this Pokemon for anything, I got carried away with evolving on top of those 3 shinies that I evolved. I also have this Inferape, probably just because it's the highest CP one with decent IVs evolved. Sitting at fancy 2247 with an IV spread of 12, 14, 12. And all these are just, on the bottom here, are just old ones. Like, this is first Diddy, my first Chimchar ever, that I hold on to for sentimental reasons. It sucks, but it's there. This one I evolved because it was the next to perfect. An IV spread of 15, 14, 15, but again, considering I'm not using Inferape or anything, I'm not sure. I just couldn't stand transferring it when it was so close, so I figured I'd just evolve it. And worst case scenario, these Inferapes are around in case anyone ever trades. If they start filling up my inventory too much, then I'll get rid of them. And I tried to do some lucky trades, but my trade partner didn't really have too many Chimchar to spare, so this is rather unfortunate because you see this list of Chimchars that I just have sitting around above 800? Well, I also kept like maybe double that of ones that were in between 800 and 7 just because like last community day I did run into like the one or two friends I have up in the college area, and they were massively trading. Like, they were going for dozens and dozens, just swapping, getting as many luckies as they can so they can just get the best lucky. I was not that fortunate. I only did like 2 Chimchars, so of course I didn't get a lucky Chimchar. But I still had this lucky Chimchar sitting around from before. This is why it's worth preparing for community days before community day, kids. Because you may not always get the chance to get your lucky Pokemons and all the other good stuff you want. And it's IV spread. It's good, not great. So I'll have to see which of these I want to keep, which ones I want to evolve, or power up. Might be fun to power up the lucky just because it doesn't take as much Stardust. But even now, I'll probably save it for an opportunity where I'm not really pressing on Stardust for anything. What else did I get on this day that's maybe worthwhile? Actually, before I do that, let me actually talk a bit more about the day itself, because honestly, as I started to say, it's kind of more of a lackluster community day. Still nice because I got out and walked, took in the cool, fresh air, snow all around me, and 30-degree weather, Fahrenheit. Part of the sentence is ironic, but I swear part of it is not. It's just an overall good time. I did not really get as involved with the whole Alone Wasting raid trade as I thought. I thought like I just go closer to home, they'd pop up all over, and I'd be able to do a couple with friends so that were a lot more close than the area that I was playing community day at. So I could get a couple. I wouldn't have to worry about going too crazy, getting carried away, and using up all my raid passes. But unfortunately, I just ended up getting this one. Oh man, they have a particle effect for the smoke, and it's the most amazing thing. The smog, the green smog around it is static, but the smoke coming out, there's smoke coming out of his head, and that's a particle effect that's affected by how I move this wheezing. And it's just beautiful. Fine art, worth just, even though the YouTube videos don't really have too much to them, it's just like another way for me to get the podcast out there. And just to show why I'm not uploading an actual video for that day, because this content, because I'm working on this content as well, it's worth, my point being, it's worth going over to my YouTube channel, link to it in the site, just to see this glorious particle effect that I am showcasing as we speak. Bop. Oh, I didn't even check the IVs on this thing. Yeah, it would have been nice to get a couple more, have one to trade for a friend, or so, but it is what it is. Did I get any good Shadow Pokemon while I was out? Not really. It's been a while since I've seen a Shadow Mudkip, so it's nice to see that again. And I might have something for potential Lucky Friends trading if I run out of other things to do, or other Pokemon to trade. Yes, there is this Shadow Sneasel here that's new, but that was more for even after everything I've talked about so far for Community Day. So after we did that one raid, I went over to a friend's place to do some trades. I guess I'll show the best things I got from there. Got this Tyranitar, because we were just swapping level for raid bosses. So I swapped them a champ, they swapped the Tyranitar. It's a nice Tyranitar, but it's just a crying shame, because if we go here and just pull up all the Tyranitars I have already, I think I have too many Tyranitars, especially nowadays where there are Tyranitars not the top in everything. He's up in like the top 5, but he's not number 1 in anything anymore. Still, he's really good, so there's gotta be a place for this Tyranitar somewhere. It's traded so I can't trade another person, so we'll see. Maybe possibly, like, if I ever meet up with my one online friend who's a real fan of Tyranitar, I can trade one of the ones I've already powered up to him and keep this one for myself. We'll see. Like, it's got a lot of work to do, like TM adjustments and all that, before I use it up anyways. Got this Larvitar. Allow me a second to cut, just in case. Yep, this is a traded one. This might be my replacement for SmackDown for my PvP Tyranitar. Cause I finally bit the frickin' bullet. If you've seen from... I forget which cup it is already. The one that I tried to use Tyranitar in, I think it was Twilight Cup. I actually had a SmackDown Tyranitar that was under 1500. But it was shiny and lucky and like really good IV, so I've been hesitant to actually... I was tempted to power it up for a long time. And he's finally been powered up past the 1500 mark. So maybe I'll actually finish powering him up and actually use him for something. Yeah, like a freaking shiny lucky Tyranitar that's this freaking good. Doesn't deserve just to sit and rot in the Great League for 1 or 2 situations where I might actually use it in. And no, I am not just stalling for time to try to finish powering up this thing, so I stop procrastinating it. As I'm saying, after doing some trades with that, I was also, in exchange, able to finally finish up the part of the Looming Shadow special research I was stumped on last Friday night. Well, that's already yesterday already. I just been up so late that the days just feel so long. But point being, I finished up everything else with that Looming Shadow quest on the Friday night I was out, but I couldn't find anyone to PvP with. I finally got that out of the way, so now I'm finally on the part of the research where I have to battle each of the Rocket leaders. Which is great, because I was sitting on a Rocket radar for pretty much all of Community Day. Like, I got the radar put together maybe an hour or less into Community Day, and I just kept seeing frickin' Bayonetta pop up even when I wasn't trying to hunt her down on the radar. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to catch frickin' Chimchars and spin stops. And he seems like wherever I go, I couldn't find Sierra, who I was dubbing Bayonetta, for the longest time. But of course, it just seems like as soon as I found her and beat her the first time, she just keeps popping up. She's like a rat that just I can't get rid of, even though, like, maybe I want to fight Cliff or Shao Meowth, which I can barely say seriously. Maybe I want to fight Arlo because he's an apple pie and not something else I was going to say. And I just want to smack him down with my Tyranitar that knows Smackdown. And not anything violent. On second thought, ignore what I said, kitties. But no, she's just there, but at least I got her done, so now that she's been defeated, maybe the next time I have a Rocket Raider put together, I can find someone else to fight. Maybe. Last but not least, I ended off my community day finally submitting Pokestops. Just to get my feet wet in the topic, I found some landmarks in the local area. I basically walked after I beat the snot out of Sahara and found some local landmarks that were missing. I did accidentally submit one that was already a Pokestop, but honestly I think my version of the Pokestop is a lot better in quality than the one that was already there. So, I mean, I don't really care if it's a duplicate. I don't need 2 Pokestops there. Even if you just take the picture that I used, that'd be great. I don't know if that's really something that I can distinguish in Wayfinder at all. But I can't cancel a stop submission once I do it already, so I just gotta hope that there's no major penalty, and I can just enjoy it. And I was gonna do a little bit more staff submitting, but then I got a call from family and members of the family at least, and we went out to do some things, and lo and behold, it's like 7, 8 o'clock, and I just got home. So definitely not a bad community day. Definitely could have had less time spent on said community day, but it's a thing. Oh, what do you know? The Tyranitar is all powered up. This Tyranitar is all powered up. How did that happen? We may never know. Let me just skim through the rest of my stuff. Because I talked about my day, but there is a little bit more haul I wanted to share. There was things that I hatched. There's PvP Pokemon that I wanted to share. Swapped the Registeel for a Registeel to try to get better IVs. In case I ever want to use it for, like, Great League. I got my Bibarel replacement for the Ferocious Cup coming up. And it took me forever because I wanted to, like, pay homage to the LP that I saw that had a Bibarel, but the name is kind of inappropriate. So, this is basically like 2-3 tangents away from the original source material. But if you're a fan of Lucachin, you might still get it. And I also traded a few Nidorans, didn't find a good one from trading. That's one that I just caught from before. And let me see, if I push hatch, there it is. So, I've been hatching a lot of alone eggs, not by my own choice, but by accidentally getting them from gifts while I'm going through. Unfortunately, I've been trying to clear out my box, so I think I got rid of a few things already. But the particular highlights were that Bonsly, there was a Togepi that I traded away because it was out of state, so it was part of the trading out of state Pokemon for candy. Got this Beldum. Not bad, not great. I've got better already. Got a Panpour, which is not great, but hey, a regional is a regional. And a Riolu, which is pretty cool to get out of a 10k. I actually gotta find someone to swap roles with so I can have a good PvP one. Shoot, what was that? Oh, I was trying to remember what my last one was, but I think it was a Litwick. The reason it's not here is because I already traded it away for candy. Plus, it was for a friend that was looking for Litwicks. So, I still have Litwicks to trade, specifically to try to get a lucky one to use my next Unova Stone on. Speaking of Unova Stones, I might as well just evolve my Panpour, whichever one's the best one, because I've gotten like 2 Unova Stones, if not more, from the Rocket Leaders as I've been fighting them. How are we sitting on? Yeah. So even if I evolve a Panpour, I can get that Dex entry at long last and not feel like I'm wasting a Unova Stone. Let's see. I mean, honestly, all these IVs are pretty bad, but maybe I'll use it for PvP someday. Huge question mark. So yeah, the 10-kilometer eggs out of the 3, 2 of them were pretty good. So that was real nice. New Dex entry coming up? Yes, sirree. Why am I getting a huge sense of deja vu? Well, at least seeing the new Pokédex entry screen come up gives me confidence that I didn't evolve one that I already had, but I still get this huge sense of deja vu for some reason. Anything else worth a note? Because wow, I've been rambling a lot longer than I thought I would. I thought this was a kind of lackluster community day, honestly. Because I didn't meet up with any friends during the event itself. I actually went grocery shopping in the middle of community day. That's kind of how meh it was. And yeah, I still had a huge haul on good Pokemon and shinies and all. I'm not quite sure why I'm not more excited. I'm definitely not upset or disappointed. I'm just kind of, eh. Oh, there's this cool... This was kind of fun. I got this thick... Did I just say that out loud? Got this thick Larvitar while filling up on gas before community day. That's nice. I forgot to trade that to try to get a lucky. I'm not sure if I really need a lucky Tranter at this point though. But hey, if you are my trading buddy and you want to try lucky Tranter, if I have that thing, that's giving it to you is definitely an option. I don't mind my scatterbrainness. I'm just trying to make sure I've got everything. Yeah, that's everything. Anything else past that point is all just stuff I did on that Friday night, which was a pretty nice haul in of itself, but that's not what this is about. But while I'm on tangents, why? This is the 3rd shiny Sentret. My first one being almost immediately followed by my second one way back. What is this luck? And can I please transfer a little bit of this luck into a blue Yama? Pretty please and thank you. Well, with all that humble bragging, I think the kids call it, out of the way, I definitely should wrap it up here. Really looking forward to talking about December Community Day. That's gonna be a fun time, I can tell already. All this said though, December last year for Community Day was real hype. So that alone's got me real excited to just do the retrospective on this December's Community Day. Especially because when I do the pre-illusionary thoughts, the event should already be live. So if it's anything like last year at least, I do gotta keep myself leveled to some degree because there's always a chance that they won't do last year again. It's just so hard not to believe that they won't do that when they're giving us 2 days for Community Day. But either way, with there being 2 days for Community Day, something big is going to happen. So I get the feeling that even before either Community Day starts, there's going to be a lot of hype to just ramble on about. Thank you all for tuning in though. If you like what you hear, be sure to show your support on whatever platform you're on. Giving good reviews or following is good for the audio format. Subbing, liking, commenting, all good jazz if you're watching on YouTube. And if you want to see more content I do, check out my site. As always, there's a Pokemon Go section, so you can just go to that tab if you want to see all the platforms that I'm doing Pokemon Go stuff on. And if you want to hear more podcasts, or more specifically more videos, check out the YouTube section. And oh yeah, there's a Pokemon Go section has an Instagram. I haven't done it as recording this, but hopefully by the time this goes up, I'm planning on launching a special Pokemon Go Instagram account. So if you're on that platform, I'd love to see your support on there as well. Especially if you're a fan of the Shadow Pokemon retrospectives I've been doing in past and plan to do for the future. I really think you'll like that channel. Enough plugging though. Take care.